1, go for it, half marathon!
Hello, you beautiful lot. Welcome back to Crown My Run and welcome back to Battersea Park, the place to be if you're feeling a little bit low and glum about your running to try and get your mojo back. I am taking part in the Battersea Running Festival half marathon, trying to see if I can finally get the final Mills PB that I haven't got in the half marathon. D Mills, my swine of an older brother, has it with a 1 hour 23 and 15 seconds. Earlier on in the year, I got within 11 seconds, but couldn't quite get the job done. But just last month, I was going backwards. So the night before this race, I decided enough was enough. I signed up at midnight, headed down to Battersea at 9 AM, and decided to absolutely send it. And asking myself the question, how long can I hold 3:52 per kilometre, 6:15 per mile, or 1 hour 21 40-second half marathon pace? This would mean completely skipping the 1 hour 22s in my half marathon journey, and I don't think it's ever usually good to go out aggressive in a half marathon. It's best to ease in, but not today. I'm going out like every other fucker does and seeing if I can hold on. Let's go. And we are out the blocks into Battersea Park, and let me just tell you, this race was utter bedlam. On the left there, you've got the marathon runners that have already been going for an hour. The half marathon runners getting going now. There's 1,500 of us, 500 marathon runners, 2,000 people running around this park.
Let's go, Jay.
Right, mate. What are you going for?
About 128, 129, something like that.
Nice. Would that be first sub 90? Yeah, nice.
13-minute PB.
Oh, brilliant. Right, good luck, mate.
Good luck, mate.
I didn't ask for this legend's name, unfortunately, but if you're watching, I really hope you broke 90. But as you can see already, things are getting rather busy. It was actually a slightly new course to the one that I did back in January. Back in January, we only did one 2.5k loop 8 times, but they'd made it a 4k loop now, which on the face of it should ease congestion, but I think it kind of made it worse, as we ended up doing a 180-degree turnaround and then running back against traffic in sort of only 2 or 3 wide areas at most, whereas at the moment you can see very, very wide, and it actually gets wider as we go around a bit later. So I would say 85 to 90% of the old loop, pretty easy to get past people, whereas in the new section, we'll see shortly, it's pretty much impossible at times to get past people without getting those elbows out, or getting someone else to do the dirty work for you, which is the technique I employed. 500 metres in now, and these two chaps did come past me on the roundabout. One of them a local runner, a Hastings runner there, and I'm just assessing whether I can go with them or that pace is just a little bit too hot for me. Another runner coming through. Very difficult to actually gauge your pace around Battersea a lot of the time, especially at the start of a race with all the tree cover. Eventually, I've got 5k splits on. The average pace should be pretty close to what I'm actually going at, but at the moment, it's jigging up and down quite a lot. You can see I'm now apparently going at 3:25 per kilometre. Who knows quite if that was true, but it's early doors. We're feeling strong. And here we are about to turn right into the new part, and you will see already the problem. There's half marathon runners in here. There's marathon runners still in here. You can see traffic coming on the left-hand side of the screen, so I can't jig out to the left to get through. I just have to bide my time, sneak through there on the leaves. No damage done, luckily. Can I get through that guy? Oh, I do just about get through that lot to follow through Pablo. Less than a kilometre in, and we've almost already had a crash. Fantastic. Battersea is very much not a place where you can just get in a pack, switch off, and just tick over, letting the kilometres just go by. You've got to keep your wits about you, but at least that hopefully might distract you from the pain. We'll see. As you can also see, there are mile signs absolutely everywhere for the marathon and the half marathon. It felt like there was one every 5 meters, and trying to work out where exactly I was based on that would have been very difficult. Luckily, I did have my watch. And I failed to notice we have gone through 1 kilometer now, and it's a delectable 3 minutes 51. Almost perfect for this potential suicide mission today. But that is where we've set our lofty ambitions. How long can we hold this pace? I have found myself a tidy little group of runners here. How long will we be able to stay together? About 50 meters, unfortunately, as Pablo is trying to escape past me, so I move on past Turquoise Vest there. The other thing with this change course is that this section is slightly uphill. I'd say it's about 4 or 5 meters uphill, and then obviously you get to come around and come back down it. But the rest of the course is pretty much pancake flat, so they've added a little bit of elevation, the cheeky bastards. NXZ runner sneaks on through. There's still lots of jostling for position here, trying to figure out where we should be. And on a single loop half marathon, that would probably settle down around here. I don't think that's going to settle down for the whole thing. It's absolute chaos here at Battersea. Twemlow's overtaken me now as we get to the mile sign just up there. And then I believe I probably turned the camera off and we're going to skip just a little bit before the turnaround, which we will see later. There we go to 3K. Completely new people around at the moment. A lot more open here, and doesn't look like there's that many runners out and about. Let's have a look at the splits. A 3:57 second kilometre. And a much better 3:53 third kilometre. It's probably a good time to point out that my watch underread by 300 metres at the end. And I'm 90% sure it was just my watch being dodgy, as everyone else did make it to the half marathon distance pretty much, or just over, as you'd expect. I obviously had no idea this was happening, so most of my splits, I think, were probably slightly quicker than the ones I'm going to tell you from Strava. But I'm not messing around either way with this fourth kilometre. A 3:49, probably a 3:47 or 48. Are we cooking? Fast forward to 4.7k, and I'm enjoying a lot of open path ahead of me. The 3 mile sign on the left, I'm assuming that's why I turned my camera on here, doesn't look that exciting at the moment. But we're almost 5k in. Heart rate has just reached 175 away from my threshold. Pretty good at this time in a half marathon, I would say. Could do with some company, though. Ask and the running god shall deliver. Black Saw Top has arrived after a 3:55 fifth kilometre, making that first 5k a 19 minutes and 25 seconds. Or there or thereabouts, given my watch was really struggling. I think the 180 loop that I hope I record at some point, not this lap apparently, but I think it was causing my watch to just not register any distance for a reasonable amount of time, as when I did the Beachy Head Marathon a few weeks later, there was a point where I visibly watched my watch not move in distance for like a minute when I was definitely moving. The 6th kilometre split now, another 3:55, but here is when things got interesting. After a 3:52 7th kilometre, Adidas Vest overtook me, who I'm now going to refer to as General Adidas. He was barking orders out left, right and centre to make sure people stayed out the way to the left where they were meant to be going, leaving us the right to come through as we make our way past Barney Stinson there on the left. So I knew as long as I could cling on to General Adidas, I was going to be very close to a PB. Every single time I was like, how are we going to get through here? He would use his authority to part the Red Sea, and I was going to try and follow him through to the end of the earth. And would you look at that, a 3:48 8th kilometre. And what is this? I'm looking like I want to overtake my general. Who on earth do I think I am? But I'm obviously feeling $1 million right now. I go past another girl there who I think was in the half marathon race. Not entirely sure. I speed up to 3:30 per kilometre. We're coming up to the end of the second lap. Just another 3 to go. We skip forward to 9k, and apparently I overtook General Adidas because I wanted to stay in the high 340s. We're now behind Yellow Pro 4s, and Battersea is about to Battersea hard. There's just enough room for us to get through at the moment. She checks I'm not going to make a silly move before the hazard sign, which I don't. Rounding the corner. Oh no, she did try her best twice shouting out to keep left. And I think the guy did just get confused at which direction to go last minute when he heard someone shouting, but I think it shows why headphones are banned in these races. As General Adidas returns, and he's going to need to bellow some instructions at this lot. He goes for an impossible gap. I have to run around the bloody lamppost, but we are through. just about unscathed. But look on the left of us, all of those people. We're going to have to go overtake shortly as we begin to approach half distance. Just look how busy it is. You can also hopefully see that there is a reasonable gradient from the center of the road down to the side where we're running on the right, which means we're constantly having to battle that gradient slightly. And with my pronating ankles, not ideal, but we're making it through. Plenty of runners here with not too many dramas. Most people are running on the left or as far to the left as they can go. And I'm just doing everything I can to stick with General Adidas. He looks insanely calm and composed. My heart rate is creeping into the high 170s. Still feeling pretty bloody good, but I knew that meant the final 5k were going to be tough, but that is what I expected going out so hard. And here we have the turnaround, which looks like it might be tricky. General Adidas goes through. The girl sees me and gives me a little bit of room. I have to put a nice surge in to make sure I stick with him. We'll put that 10th k up now, and a 3:52 with all that traffic is very good going. And the second 5k a 19:16, which is pretty much 3:51 per kilometre. 9 seconds quicker than that first 5k. And with General Adidas still leading the way, we are in good hands. He was just starting to creep away from me ever so slightly, but I put in a little bit of effort to make sure he didn't get away, and I'm right behind him now at 10.5k, so pretty much halfway. And my body was just starting to really appreciate how quick it had been going as this lad just decides to pop himself on in the middle of the race. I don't know if he'd been off for a wee or something, or if he was even in the race, but we're fine. Just happily clinging on for dear life to General Adidas. I hadn't seen a kilometre quicker than a 3:50 on my watch myself, and I've done 4 now, and had I realised we were going quite that quick, I think I would have backed off, even though General Adidas was helping me out so much. He had obviously started to just crank it up a little bit, and when I go back and look at his Strava, he was doing a progressive half marathon, so yes, every 5k he was getting quicker. But in my mind, that extra effort in the last 2-3k was to just keep going at the same pace, because that's all I could see on my watch, and I didn't want to slow up at this point. But we were actually squeezing that pace even more, and it was getting harder and harder. You can hear from my breathing, I am working hard. And then exactly what we didn't want to happen happened. I had to go all the way round to the right of absolutely everyone. And again, and again. And I lose touch by not too much, but a lot of effort was used there, not crashing into people. I really, really grind hard to try and stay with him here. My heart rate goes up to 180. We're going at 3:25 per kilometre, but I cannot live with that pace anymore. It's just a little bit too hard for me. 183 heart rate. We've still managed a sub 350k, a 349. I'm not sure we're going to do too many more sub 350. It's cling the fuck on time and make sure we defeat D Mills' 123.15 PB. Moving forward to 12.5k. You can just about see General Adidas still, but I know I have no more surges in my legs left to try and make it up behind him. I've just got to conserve as much energy as possible to make sure I don't start dropping in the final few kilometres some absolute stinkers in the 4s. 13.6k now. General Adidas is gone, but we've got Royal Park's 2024 finisher for company at least. I am in a very large amount of pain, and if you guys and girls could like and subscribe to get me to that finish line ahead of D Mills' PB, that would be greatly appreciated. My 13th kilometre was actually pretty solid still, a 3:52. General Adidas was just trying to kill me as we go through the turnaround. And the 14th K, a 3:54, that's not the end of the world. 7k to go now. Can we cling on to this pace as I decide to move on past Royal Park's 2024? And I've got my eyes set on the Bradford colours ahead as an autumnal leaf floats down to the floor. And would you looky here, I have made it up just behind him before the 15th K marker, which we go through in 3 minutes 56. We are definitely slowing. But the fact the pace was so hot at the start of that 5th K means we've only dropped 2 seconds overall in that 3rd K, and 19.8 1:18, and our current overall average pace has us well on for in the 1:21 to smash our PB by a couple of minutes. But things very quickly went from hard to wanting to stop every 100 meters. Bradford runner and the lady in black have gapped me by 10-15 seconds just a K later. My 16th kilometer was still a 3:57, which is previous PB pace. So with how much quicker I've got in the first 15K, still should be fine, but I feel like I'm slowing even more. The pace at the top, it's 4:05 per K. I've seen 4:10. I enter my final lap of 5. How I wish I was going off to the right now to finish. But no, I have one lap to dig in so deep in within myself to claim finally all 4 Mills PBs. Still having to avoid incidents here and there. And yes, I was still slowing. The 17th K, the first one, not in the 3s. A 4 flat.
Here we go.
On your right. On your right.
He finally sees me, but I've made the decision to go left at that point, then have to jig back right, and oh my goodness. Energy I do not need to be exerting now is gone. 18.4K. Look who's back. It's the Royal Parks 2024 finisher. And then very quickly, Sawtop is back. And who's this? Oh, this is Mark. I've met him at 3 or 4 races now. They're all coming through as my pace is beginning to fall off a cliff. The 18th K wasn't so bad. A 4 flat again, so only losing 3 seconds to my PB. But the 19th, a 4:10. That's a big chunk gone. Pretty much a mile until the end now, and I'm just trying to cling on to Mark now. I think we were both going for around the same time, a 1:21, 1:22. He appears to have paced it a lot better than me, as he's now 4-5 seconds ahead of me. Someone with a burgundy top has also gone through. I'm moving at like 4:20 a kilometre. Please not like this. I can feel D Mills's massive grin begging me to have a little walk. But I'm not going to. Not today, Zerg. That dream of the 1:21s might have faded, but as long as I can stick in the 1:22s, I'm still going to get that Mills PB. 20th K, another 4:10, which led to a 20-minute and 17-second 5th kilometre, almost a whole minute drop-off from the 3rd 5K. As long as I don't walk, I think I will just about get this done, but to stay in the 1:22s at least, I'd really like to get a 1:22 today. Scraping under Damo's 23:15 by a few seconds would feel a little bit underwhelming after going so quick for that first 15K. Can I just pick it up enough in this final kilometre to get myself a nice healthy PB solidly in the 1:22s? 600 metres to go, and I'm finally able to start picking it up a little bit back into the 3:40, 3:35 per kilometre now. I can just about still make out Mark ahead of me, and I'm trying to stay as close to him as possible. As we round the bend here, I can just about taste that finish line. I can see the area where we're going to be funneled off to the right towards Battersea track. I'm slightly delirious. I'm not really sure what time I'm on for at the moment. In my mind, I was just in a battle to try and break into the 1:22s. But I had an awful feeling I was somehow going to miss out on the 23:15 and not get the Mills PB. D Mills' reign of terror living on. But there we go. I break away into the finishing chute. Mark is, I don't know, 6 or 7 seconds ahead of me. I turn right and I'm so close to home. Finally onto the track. 300 metres to go and I can unleash the Mills kick of doom. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 people I can see up there. How many of them can I nab as I'm already going at 3:15 per... No! Insta 360, you've got blood on your hands again. What an absolute disgrace this is. But look at the bottom right. A 1 hour 21:10 with 250 metres to go. Damo should be in the absolute mud. And I can tell you, I managed to overtake 2 of those people up there. Didn't get to Mark, lost to him by 3 or 4 seconds in the end, but 2 of them I did overcome. I got into the 2s, of course I did. Did I actually manage to break into the 1:21s in the end? Yes, I did. A 1 hour 21 and 59 seconds, scraping under by the finest of margins. And there is me entering the track section, giving it my absolute all, and it was so worth it just to creep under. Well done to Mark as well. He did a 1 hour 21:55 for his PB, and he definitely got me in the 1:21s. If he wasn't there, I would not have got that done. I would have probably still got a 22, I don't know, 10 or 15, but he just dragged me along to get that elusive 121, which I'm so happy about. So thank you so much for watching, everyone. I finally have all 4 Mills PBs. D Mills will not be happy about it. He will be back soon to try and claim some of them back. And we all now know that W Mills isn't far behind. Tune in next time for the Beachy Head 10K when the unthinkable happens. We'll see you then.